Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Audiophiliac Daily Show, because today it is kind of exciting. It's your stuff. Now, I did two of these before, slideshows of viewers' systems. The first one was just a general call to see your systems. Second one was more specific. It was vintage audio. And today, this third part of the series is about big stuff. Big speakers, big amps, big turntables, that kind of thing. I asked for them to be sent, and you guys responded, and thank you for everyone who did. I can't use but a tiny fraction of the pictures that I got, so thanks for the effort. And so it's interesting that this episode, though I asked for just big, just general big, and that's what I got, a lot of it is DIY, a lot of it is vintage, some of it is new, so it really kind of runs the gamut, but the theme is consistent, big things. So, oh, before I forget, you know, I have viewers all over the world, and that is hugely gratifying, speaking of big. But some of your names I'm going to have a tough time pronouncing. So rather than apologizing every time I mangle somebody's name, I'll just say it up front. I'm very sorry. I'm doing the best I can. But, so, without any further ado, let's take a look at this incredible menagerie of big gear. So, okay guys, I asked for big. Seth responded with his Klipsch horn AK5 horn-loaded speakers. He's using Pro Electronics, a North Star design DAC, a bunch of other really cool stuff, but it looks like a sweet little system. Sweet little? No, sweet large system. And speaking of large, next up is Jim's Magnepan 3.7i's. I had a set of 3.7s, and actually before that 3.6s, so I know these speakers well. And that, talk about a wall of sound. We're talking, that's what we're getting here. They're being driven with an Anthem P2 amp, but he also has an Anthem AV M30 amp that he's not currently using. There's also a Mytek Brooklyn Bridge in there that's very tiny, and a Rel T7i subwoofer. Now this next guy, Ramus, his system's so big he needed a wide-angle lens to fit it all in. So think of the scale here. Those are Alltech Lansing A7 500 speakers. Look how tiny the amps look next to those speakers. Along the front wall are four 18-inch JBL subwoofers, 2 per side, operating in stereo. The rear wall has, facing from the rear wall, are 2 JBL 2405 diffraction tweeters that are for ambience. The speakers are electronically quad amped. Karsten sent along this beast that has JBL 5644 for the lows, JBL 3732 for the mid-highs, and JBL 2405 driver for the high frequencies. It looks big. You don't want to be living next to this guy. So then comes Payatat. He's from Bangkok, and he has also avant-gardes. These are Mezzo XDs, Micro Saki 5000 with an Akita 407 gold toner. There's an ASR Mini Basis, that's the turntable, and an Audio Research Reference 3, and a Macintosh 275 power amp, which is that's a sweet system. That's big system, but very sweet. Then comes Pierre with his very large homemade horn speaker system with JBL 2405 super tweeters, 2446H mid-range, JBL 2226, and one 15-incher in a 6090 sub. I don't know what any of those things are. I'm just reading what he said, what he sent along here. Don has something even bigger. Don has Klipsch KP456 professional speakers, actually that were removed from a theater. They have dual 15-inch woofers and a low-frequency enclosure, 2-inch Tractrex wave horn, and a Klipsch K11328 compression driver that was removed from the cabinet and painted. I don't know what any of that means. There's a new Kreitz subwoofer made for these speakers. John, let's see what John has done here. This is kind of highlights from John. In the top center, there's a J.A. Mitchell turntable, an Audio Research LS1 line stage, and below that, a Krell KST100 fully balanced amplifier. He also has Aragon 8008 dual mono fully balanced amplifiers, a Technics RS1506 reel-to-reel. The speakers are Arnie Nudell's Genesis Model 2000 dipole with dipole planar ribbon towers. And the subwoofers are Arnie Nudell 15-inch metal cone servo subs. So that's heavyweight stuff. Charles, let's see what Charles has here. So Charles has a 5.1 Sony TA E9000 ES 5-channel preamplifier. The speakers are JBL L100 T3s. The surrounds are JBL L20 T3s. The sub is a JBL B380. The center is a JBL Studio Cinema center. The 5-channel amp is a Sony TA9000 ES. There's also a tuner, and a turntable, and a cartridge, all kinds of stuff in this system. Man, oh man. Lots of stuff. Got to move on. Dale has some very tall DIY speakers that he built from the woodendesign.com. It's the Avebury plans with a Mark Audio Alpair 12P full range drivers. The speakers are backloaded horns that are a little over 7 feet tall. David has a nice shot of this Garrard 401 in a Vinylista plinth with a 12-inch Groove Master 2 arm. David sent along another Klipsch system. These are kind of like a holy grail. Maybe I'll get to hear these someday. These are Klipsch Jubilees. It's a two-way system that weighs 500 pounds each. And then there's a Danley DTS-20 subwoofer that weighs a mere 220 pounds. Next up, we have Sean, and he has, let's see, Stage Accompany 57s, an extra curvy Perot PM 350 amp, an NAD M12 preamp, a Luxman D06 SACD player. There's also an Oppo 105 Blu-ray player, a Stax DMA monoblock, actually 2 of them, and of course a Stax CAY preamp. He's digging retro. Jim is out there. And I would say eccentric, yes, very, very eccentric. He has this turntable with very big and very long DIY tone arms. You don't see those every day, in various stages of completion. The platter is still under construction on this big and long turntable, which is based on a vintage Reco cut, but everything else is handmade by Jim. Here's a shot of Pear's new JBL 4365 speakers that he yesterday, or the day before he took this picture, connected to a Lin Karate DSM and Lin AV2250 power amp. He also has a Lin LP12 turntable. He likes Tom Verlaine, if you guys remember Tom Verlaine, formerly of television. Hey, we got another large turntable from, this one's from Etai. It's a Shu Das Loftwerk Slate Edition turntable. The tone arm is a Dynavector DV507 Mark II. Cartridge is a Microbenz Wood SM. Looks very serious there. That's a great way to play music. So Michael's in Belgium, and he has this very large system. And on the left, starting on the left side, there's a Marantz 2226B with a custom wood case in black lacquer. And then there's a Shanling SACD player with tubes. And then it's all connected with transparent music link. But the speakers, look at those speakers. Those are extra tall audio static ES100 full range electrostatic speakers with custom filters. Next to the electrostatics are North 6.0 speakers in a wooden cabinet. And then next to the North is a Emotiva UPA7 and a UMC1. Rob has Sonus Faber Cremona M speakers. But he likes subwoofers, not just because he likes bass, as he points out. It's not just for the amount of bass, it's the quality of the bass and the evenness of all the bass in the room. He has a total of 5 subs. There's 2 HSU UL15s, a JL Audio Phantom 112, a Rhythm FE15 HP, and a Sunfire True MK2. So Nicole sent this picture. Now, I kind of remember these. These are Fulton Premier speakers from around 1981. I worked for a guy who was selling Fulton speakers briefly, but this system consists of 2 12-inch downward firing subwoofers, 1 12-inch mid-range woofer, 1 10-inch upper mid-range woofer, 1 8-inch mid-range woofer in a separate cabinet, and in another enclosure, the tweeter array with 3 tweeters front firing and 2 tweeters upward firing. Nicole, you got some serious speakers there. Gary, well, Gary didn't give me a lot of information, but that's okay. The speakers are the stars. The speakers are SoundLabs U1 that are updated with the latest panels. They're curved electrostatic speakers. Then there's David. I know David. He was once a star on my Audiophiliac blog on CNET. He sent along these Dynaudio Confidence C4s. Although in the picture there's a threshold, he's now using the Dynaudios with a Krell KSA 50S. Then Andy sent along these speakers that look like they have louder drivers, full range speakers, but they're not. They're Altier Roulette field coil speakers. There's a Commonwealth 12C turntable with a Carman 12-inch tone arm and a Decca SC4E cartridge. There's an Audio Antiquary preamp and amplifier, Golden Age audio reference phono, and a custom dedicated room. Yes, yes. No fooling around. Dion, well, Dion just included this. His system has Magnepan 3.7s, big and tall, definitely qualify as large. Electronics are Lingdorf, and there's also a Lingdorf 2400 subwoofer. And then there's also 2 DIY subwoofers. Steve sent this picture of a Snell A. Now, I lived with Snells way, way long ago. I don't know anything else about this system, but that's enough to get you in. These are big speakers, actually a 2-part system with the top part is one piece, the bottom part with the woofer is another. They were made and designed by Peter Snell, and I owned them, and a lot of my friends owned them. Next up is Jerry. Now, I'm going for 2 pictures with Jerry because there's a good little story that goes with them. These speakers represent very important speakers in his life. He said his father purchased the Tannoy 15-inch gold monitors over 40 years ago, and he grew up listening to them until he moved out. And then he got other Tannoys, including these Westminsters, which are even bigger. Getting closer to the present, his father passed away, and the Westminsters were sold, and now the gold monitors are back with me, and he said, for life. This last one comes from a person named Guy, and it's a repeat from the last slideshow I did, the vintage systems. But I couldn't resist putting this one back because they're big. These are very, very large, all-tech voice-to-the-theater speakers that were modified from a 2-way to a 3-way. All the drivers are all-tech. As for what drives these mighty voice-of-the-theaters, no problem. He has a 1954 Seabrig HF100R jukebox that plays 1950s 45s. So this concludes this installment of the Audiophiliac Daily Show Viewer Systems. I hope you really enjoyed it. There'll be more. I don't know what the next one will be, what the theme will be, but I promise you there'll be another soon. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching. If you like it, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. I would really appreciate that. You can follow me on Twitter at AudiophiliacMan. There's a lot of information on this site. There's over 700 videos, and there are playlists for speaker reviews and headphone reviews and music reviews and lots of interviews, all kinds of good stuff to check out. Hey, if you've listened this far into the video, thank you. And I'm going to do a little plug for myself. Check out my Patreon at PATREON. reon.com/Audiophiliac. Thank you so much for watching. See you again real soon.